Ooh, this movie has some bad dialogue. As an example, I wrote this down. Time is no longer a one-way stream. Memory is the boat that sails against its current, and I'm the oarsman. Oh my God, who wrote that? So this movie is all over the place. Hugh Jackman's character meets a woman played by Rebecca Ferguson. Rebecca Ferguson? Yeah, pretty sure it was Rebecca Ferguson. And he falls in love, but really he barely knows her. And as the movie goes on, he's like, oh, I love her. She disappears. I love her. I have to find her. Then it's like, oh, wait, she's bad. I have to stop her. Then it's like, oh my God, she's really a good person. Oh, she has to come back. Why did she leave me? Oh my God. His character is so over the place. Like, make up your fucking mind, dude. I feel like this movie, it tries to be a cross between Chinatown and Blade Runner, and it fails. Not spectacularly. Spectacularly? I don't know. I can't talk right now. It fails, okay? It introduces a lot of really cool concepts, like hooking the brain up to a machine and then, the person controlling it is talking into a mic and is guiding you into your own memory so you can relive like a past happy memory. I mean, it's kind of cool. It's interesting, but I feel like they don't really follow through with it as much as they could have. One thing that bothered me a bit was they mentioned how the waters rose and war broke out. Now, I can assume that the waters rose because of global warming. I mean, it's probably going to happen in real life one day. Probably not in my lifetime, but it's probably going to happen. But it's never actually specifically said why, and it's not mentioned why war broke out. It's like, okay, what are people fighting about? Who's fighting who? What's going on? It's just like, oh hey, there was a war, waters rose, and now we have this cool technology to look into people's memories. The movie does not explain itself at all. There was one cool sequence it was like a nightclub. It was a fight scene in a nightclub where it was Hugh Jackman trying to get information about this woman, and, it's the bad guy and his henchman, and Thandie Newton shows up. She's fantastic in this movie, by the way. And it was just a very well done action scene. Overall, the movie's actually pretty boring. But again, it is somewhat interesting because of the concepts that it introduces, though doesn't really explain, and the fight scene. But just because you have cool concepts, that doesn't necessarily make you a good movie. I give Reminiscence 2 out of 5. I didn't hate it, but I didn't necessarily like it. I give it 2 because of the interesting concepts, the interesting premise of the movie, but it gets 2 because it doesn't explain any of it. And I'm going to leave you with another one of these fantastic quotes that I had to write down. There is no such thing as a happy ending, just happy stories with sad endings. Did you enjoy the review? Make sure to hit that like button and subscribe to get notified when more reviews go live. Feel free to leave a comment to discuss your thoughts on the movie or show, and I will see you next time.